Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So today, I am describing a problem that I saw on YouTube from a brother. He's an Arab brother, and his friend also is an Arab. So the story happened to them, and the video was in Arabic. So I'm doing, just repeating some of the information or most of it, but in English this time around. So this is my disclaimer, essentially. This is not something that I witnessed firsthand. So the story goes like this. A man who lives in Texas, and his daughter is 13-year-old. She goes to a public school, unfortunately. And then this man also works in a trucking business. So he drives a truck, the 18-wheelers. So he's on the road most of the time, sometimes 5 days a week, sometimes 6, sometimes the entire week on the road. So he doesn't get to spend time with his kids and teach them and, help them with the or answer questions for them. Of course, the mother is trying, but, she wouldn't be able to do the whole work alone. She needed the man around, but, he has to work to bring income to the house. And so that's how the problem started. So his daughter goes to a public school, as I mentioned, and in school, she got with the wrong crowd. They're, children or kids from Hispanic background, and then they kept, injecting bad ideas in her head. One of them is they told her that, life in Mexico is beautiful. It's so much better. It's a lot easier, and so. And then one day, the father noticed all these communications on her cell phone. So they took the cell phone from her. So just to add to this, on top of being in a public school, she also has her own phone. She has to fit in. It's crazy. So she's in a public school with a cell phone. She can communicate and use the internet however she wishes. And then she's with the wrong crowd on top of it. When they took the phone from her, she found other ways to communicate with them. Like she would go on Facebook, on X, on other channels to continue her communication with those girls. Of course, she sees them in school, to the point that they convinced her that she should run away. And so one day, she stole the phone, and she left a note for her parents, telling them that she's tired of her life here. She want to go and live in Mexico. And so she left her note and took off. By the time they found out, it was too late. She's already gone. They tried calling the phone that she took. She wouldn't pick up. Of course, they called the cops. The police started looking, and they traced or tracked the phone. They found it was thrown away. So what happened here is she's a victim of a human trafficking cartel, essentially. So she was kidnapped at that point. They threw away her phone. She's gone with them, and they're in Texas, so they're not too far from their destination. And so the moral of the story is that the man lost his daughter. He is crushed, of course. The mother is crushed. They are, it's a disaster, but they can't do anything about it. It's too late. But for us as a Muslim community, we have to be smart and learn from that type of problems, and not just listen to it like, oh man, this is sad, and move on. No, we should learn from it. Number one is the fact that we send our kids, especially girls, to public school. It's something we have to rethink about and find other ways. I know there are Islamic schools. They're a bit pricey. So this is a call for Islamic schools to find a way to reduce their tuitions, so most families, can afford to enroll their children into Islamic schools. That's one. Number two, there are Islamic online school. So the entire school is online. Kids will not have to mix with good or bad children in school because they're at home. They study in front of you. And those schools are very affordable. I mean, the price for online schools is almost 1/3 of that of on-campus school. So it's really not a bad idea, and the education quality is very high, very good. I mean, it's something I tried myself. So this is something to think about. But the other thing is, if you think about it, if you have a child, you wouldn't leave them around the fire knowing that they didn't know how to protect themselves from the fire, and they could touch the fire and it would burn them. So you will always stay around, watch them, make sure they don't touch the fire. And it's the same thing as they grow. When they're at 10, 12, 14, 15, they would still do things that would harm them. And one of those things that allows them to harm themselves is a cell phone. Why would your child have a cell phone that has full access to the internet and can call any numbers and all? It's opened. If you have to, you can give them a phone that allows them to call their parents only, and of course 911 in case they need help. And you can call them. They have no access to the internet. That would be okay. But if you give them a full access to everything, bad idea. At the same time, when you're at home, if you allow them access to the computer, which and if you're online, if they're studying online, they would have to have a computer and they have to have good access to it. You still have to have control over what they access, and it's not difficult. I mean, most routers now, they have them in the market. They have a parent control, so you can allow and disallow. You can block and not block. You can view what they access and make sure that you take action before it's too late. Also, and this is the most important one, is that you should teach your children Islamic values from early on. But before they even start talking, you need to let them live an Islamic environment. They hear Quran, they hear Hadith, they hear stuff like stories with moral, Islamic values in it, in Arabic, maybe in English. That's fine too. As they grow, they absorb all of this. By the time they're old enough to be influenced by others, they can control that. They can prevent it, or at least say something about it, so they wouldn't be influenced by it. This is a very sad story, and I hope it never repeats. May Allah give these parents, patience and strength, and hopefully we all learn from it, and they also learn from it to prevent it from happening again. May Allah give us all the strength to do what's right and follow the Quran and the Sunnah. And Jazakumullah khair for watching. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.